In this video, we're going to look at Ohm's law and how we can use it to solve voltage, current, and resistance in a circuit. Let's have a look at Ohm's law itself. This is a visual representation of Ohm's law. Pressure, which is the voltage, is shown as the letter E. Current, the amperage, is shown as the letter I, and resistance, measured in ohms, is shown as R. Here are the basic versions of the formulas you will be using. I equals E over R, E equals I times R, and R equals E over I. Let's have a look at a series circuit first. Solving resistance on a series circuit is pretty simple. You add up all the resistors to get the resistance total. This circuit shows we have a resistance total of 50 ohms. The voltage on this circuit is 100 volts. By adding up the resistance, we can solve for the current. Looking at Ohm's law, we know to solve for current we need to use I equals E over R. So let's take our 100 volts and we'll divide that by the resistance, which is 50 ohms, and we get a current of 2 amps. As current is consistent in this series circuit, we now know that we can solve for the voltage across each resistor. Let's look at another example. Ohm's law shows we multiply the current by the resistance. We do this at each resistor. We can see that V1 is 80 volts, V2 is 120 volts, and V3 is 200 volts. This means our power source is 400 volts. Let's look at another example. In this circuit, we don't know the total voltage or what the current is. As current is consistent across series circuits, we can use the values provided to solve the amperage using R2 and V2. Using Ohm's law, we take V2 and divide it by 10 ohms. That gives us a current of 5 amps. We can now solve for V1 using V equals I times R. We can take our 5 amps and multiply it by 40 ohms. This means our voltage at V1 is 200 volts. We can now solve R3. Resistance equals voltage over amperage. So we take the 250 volts and we divide it from our 5 amps, and we've discovered the resistance at R3 is 50 ohms. Now that we have all the variables, we can see that V1 plus V2 plus V3 is 500 volts. PDF versions of this material is available to review.